crazy about what's been going on in our industry, especially when it comes to different types of propulsion. My K3V is back, which is pretty exciting. That's the very first EV car I ever built. That is right back in the facility from the Peterson. We did a little swap-a-rooney with Jonathan and the team yesterday. Thank you so much, Blakumi. Says he loves the wig. Thank you so much. So Jonathan and I did a nice switcheroo yesterday with the Moby. So the Moby's in the Peterson, and this is back here. Of course, I have the Odyssey and the M16 right next to me as well. Yeah, Gigi, the van. The van is here indeed. And for those of you on YouTube, thanks so much for joining. Yes, I'm also doing YouTube Live as I do Instagram Live. Hello, Yoshi Built. Yep, the OG Odyssey, even with the polished wheels, back on again. Hey, BC, we're out here begging for a custom build on the new Toyota Land Cruiser. Interesting. I don't have a relationship yet with Toyota, but you know that's how I tend to build things. You know, I build Porsches and Hondas because of my relationship with the OEM. And yeah, we can probably have something like that happen. And those of you listening to me on the podcast networks, thanks so much for being such great advocates. And yes, I'm on podcasts, whether it's Spotify podcasts, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, you name it, just search for Bisimoto and you will hear what's going on. So why am I wearing this? This weekend, Jonathan had the opportunity to drive the M16. I had my friend Alex drive the Odyssey, and I had the opportunity to take the, not this one, but the Moby, which is my latest and greatest creation. And we had a lot of fun going out there, but it's just so weird how people are so anti-electric vehicle. It's crazy. They judge, like, why would you build such a thing? Why would you do such a thing to a 935 Tribute? What is the purpose, So that being said, oh, Exo Truck, I love your topic about variable valve timing, function, and benefits. Absolutely. Let's get into that after my little rant. Guys, we have enough rubbish going on with people hating on things and so on and so forth. The fact that I built this first one and the first time I drove it, it just was amazing in terms of acceleration. Charger style whine. In terms of what Jokai23 just said, amazing torque. Good day to you, Mig R on YouTube. Appreciate you. It is just amazing. And in California, where it's so strict to drive anything that emissions are being touched, it's a problem. So, guys, please don't judge me because I love all types of propulsion, whether it's petrol, on alcohol fuels, or electric. I love going fast, and that's the key thing. So, off my soapbox, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my standard Purell hat. Thanks so much, Purell, for being great supporters of my cause. Appreciate you indeed. I know what you think. I know you think of me when you touch yourself, says Doug Dickin. I don't even know who you are, sir, but nice try, though. Thoughts on doing a Porsche Macan build? Amazing. The Macan is a mini version of the larger Cayenne turbo. Very, very nimble. If you sit in a Macan and drive it without even looking behind you, you think you're in a sports car, SUV or CUV. So I love them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So, had a question from our good friend about variable valve timing and what are the benefits and how they work. Now, when you have, especially in petrol engines, that's what we're referring to, right? When you have a particular camshaft design or cam profile, it's always a rob Peter, pay Paul scenario. You can have a very small camshaft that is a bit of a short duration, short lift. And for those of you who don't care much about that, about lift and duration on camshafts, I'll give you a very nice analogy. Think of a room being your combustion chamber that allows all the magic to happen, right? In terms of combustion, filling, exhaust gas evacuation. Think of that as a room that creates all the energy that allows you to propel your car forward and make power. The door, how wide the door opens, is your lift of a camshaft. How long the door stays open is your duration, So that being said, there's a guy who's being very, very rude, so we're going to remove him from this. I don't tolerate any misconduct on my feed. We're here to have fun, to learn, and have a good time. I do not tolerate any rubbish. So goodbye to that gentleman who's saying all kind of nonsense. Okay, back to our scheduled program. How wide the door opens is your lift. How long it stays open is your duration. And that door opening is what allows the elements of combustion, the compounds of combustion, the air and the oxygen in the air to come inside and the appropriate amount of fuel that you ignite and create a lot of power, which is good, right? When you open that door very small and for a short period of time, short lift, short duration, you have a lot of bottom end torque just based upon the design of the camshaft. But your top end suffers. You don't have much top end. On the flip side, if you have an opportunity with a long duration camshaft with big lift, you know what ends up happening? You get more top end. So what variable cam timing does, and there are different facets of that, and that's just in regard to big and small camshafts. You can have variable cam timing where you have a camshaft with multiple lobes. You have a small lift and duration lobe set and a set of large duration and large lift. And at a certain RPM band, these pins lock into place and your rocker arms are now actuated by the larger camshaft with more duration. And how that manifests itself is with a wider torque curve. You now have bottom end that you love with small cams. And it's like you throw out a small cam mid-drive and you have a top end big cam. So it gives you a very nice flat torque curve, almost like what EVs have naturally, you now have in petrol engines. Now, there's another amazing caveat with that, which has to do with lobe separation. Remember what I talked about lift and duration? When you have lobes, the intake and exhaust lobes are wide apart from each other, and you have very little overlap, you have the opportunity to have a very nice low end torque as well. So combine a lobe separation that's wide, also with a small camshaft profile, man, it's like torque monster down low. And then if you come closer and kind of have more overlap and bring those lobes, intake and exhaust lobes together on the same camshaft, on a camshaft profile, you get more top end. So think of the best world out there. Small cam, lift, small duration, and wide lobe separation combined with big lift, big duration, and more overlap. Oh my goodness, you just have this monster of a car. And that's what you see with iVTECs in, let's say, K-series engines. It has the VTEC of lift and duration being overlapped and then switched over. And then you have the additional benefit of bringing the intake lobe closer or farther away from the exhaust lobe to accentuate lobe separation and getting the best of both worlds. How cool is that? Amazing, right? So that's how that works. A gentleman just said a moment ago that he's not a big fan of EVs, but he loves the monster I built back there. Thank you so much. I wasn't either. Even here on my Tech Tuesday, I use this platform as a way to bash EVs. I didn't want anything to do with them. I thought they were stupid for tree huggers, for individuals who just wore hemp sandals, who didn't care about performance. I think of a Nissan Leaf or the GM EV1. I'm like, those are stupid cars. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I had no idea. Even when people came here with my bank manager from US Bank, nice guy, just David Little is a great guy. He came here with his P100D performance. I didn't want anything to do with that. Didn't want anything at all. So that being said, man, what is just I had to build this begrudgingly just to see what the OEMs are about, drive it to them, love it, and now I'm hooked on EVs. Jonathan is here. He's right in front of me here. He's looking down. I think he's safe in the net. But nonetheless, it's time for me to put my do not judge me hat on again. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. So I'm gonna put this on, and I want to get your input as well on something that gentleman just said a moment ago. That being said, let me go back down. Yes, I do have the Odyssey here. It is here, but I'm trying to get this comment. Hello, R35, R13. Good seeing you, brother. Let's see. Amen, Big BMX. Knowledge is the key. Okay. Oh, did I miss this chap's comment? Thank you, Argun. Appreciate the kind words. I'm wearing this for a reason. Let me get this comment. Brandino Cecino saying, Boosted Boys versus Bisimoto. When is it going to happen? So, here's the thing. You see that Odyssey? That is the first performance van ever built in the Honda world as far back as 2013. And I built that as a way to not give up my need for speed, but also exploring my family that was growing. I wanted to go fast. I wanted something to carry the kids around, and hence that came to light. Do you know what's happened since then? Anyone in the world that builds a van, all of a sudden BC has to race them. So imagine you having a Honda Civic, and every Honda Civic that's being built, someone tells you to race them. Does that make any sense? Here's the deal. I really love seeing performance vans out there. I really love people being curious and creative and building really cool things. I'm partial to vans and wagons. I love them. Guys, don't judge me and try and pit me against everybody that builds a van. If tomorrow Jonathan builds a van that makes, let's say, 700, 800, 900, 1100 horsepower, why is it automatic racing, BC? What is the purpose of that? Why do we do that to each other? Jonathan, do you know why we do that to each other? He doesn't know. Why is it, team? Why is it, family, that when anyone builds a car that looks like yours, you automatically have to race that person to talk crap? What is the purpose? Help me understand that. I don't get it. Why can't we support each other and do some cool things and have fun without you guys pitting builders against each other? Human nature, says Big BMX 1967. He's probably right. But where's the benefit of that? Appreciate what I've done. Appreciate what people like Raymond have done. Appreciate what who else built a van recently? It's just Brian. He built a van, which is pretty nice, cool. Um, who owns Lorenzo built a van as well. The guys from Booster Boys built a really cool. They're doing something where they're putting an Odyssey body on top of a plaid. Let them build. Let's all. Why don't we all build vans and enjoy this camaraderie and creativity that the industry brings? Why are you guys pitting us against each other? What is the purpose? You know, Supercar Sean said that Top Gear episode was classic. You have nothing to prove. It's not about proving. Thank you so much, brother. But it's nothing about proving. It's just I don't get it. Why do you guys want to pit us against each other? What's the purpose? I see people tagging me on Booster Boys. Go run BC. People tag me on my stuff. Go run Booster. Can we just have fun and do good things? And if the environment presents itself where we do some kind of cool exhibition, let it be exhibition for exhibition's sake, not to pit us against each other. I'm kind of tired of seeing that. I'm tired of people hating EVs and pitting them against each other. I'm tired of seeing people pit wagons against each other and vans against each other and supers against each other. It's silly. It's really silly, you know? Brandino says just a fun race, not pitting anyone against each other. But Brandino, the only reason why that's being said is because we have similar cars. Think about it. They have an older Odyssey gutted, and I have a full leather interior, AC, power steering, fun van, which we just drove recently, had a lot of fun with. I put some stickier tires on the front, upgraded it, get a turbo, constantly finding ways to evolve and make it better. It's a fun van. It's not a track car. My inside is a track car, fully gutted, right? It's like me racing my inside versus another hybrid. It's like me racing an inside against someone else's insight just because I don't get it. I don't get it. But appreciate your kind words. Just letting you know that it does create some type of animosity in the scene, and there's no need for that. We all should be creative and do fun stuff. And if we all happen to race our race cars, or street cars, and have a good time, then so be it. I have a Plaid outside that I love racing. Should I race every Model 3 that exists? Should I race every Plaid that I see on the street? Should I race every Model S? Doesn't make sense, right? I go out there to have fun. If we're at the track, we have fun. If we're doing some exhibition, that's great. Thank you, Mercer Racing, saying agreed. But why? When are you available for tuning again? Dizzy S2K says, as soon as the EPA leaves us alone. The EPA has been quite mean. They don't want me tuning anything that's street faring. Track only vehicles, not a problem, but any street faring vehicles cannot happen. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's what's going on. I'm just happy that the K3V back. This car means so much to me. It's the first EV I ever built. It's a chassis I picked up from a very good friend of mine who was the president of POC. And this individual had the opportunity to give me a great price on that chassis as far back as when was that, like 2010. And so it was just a great guy, and I was able to acquire that car, and it's just fantastic. It's great. So to be able to see a 2010 vehicle go through this great evolution and fast forward to today, it's good. And guys, we should really embrace all type of propulsion, and it's not going to stop here. We may get a hair up our butt, Jonathan and I may get a hair up our butt and just build a performance hydrogen car. And what's next? Hydrogen is horrible? No, the ability to be able to use hydrogen as a fuel to go fast and have a lot of fun, and then the byproduct is just water. That is exciting to me. It's just I'm challenged with this task to make a hydrogen car fast. I just need to make it fast, and I really have a design on paper that I think may work. It's like using hydrogen to convert to electricity, and then you use electric motor. But on the flip side, I also have a hydrogen in internal combustion. God, anyway, I'm sharing too much. Okay, happy holidays to you as well, Toki Stir. Good seeing you. Hey, BC, Cali is in decline. Have a look at moving to Austin. So Chuck in 095, I appreciate that. The team and I were actually in Austin with the family maybe a month ago. And please forgive me, I'm not a big fan of Austin's climate. It was pouring, and the sun comes out, and it was kind of humid, even though it was November. It was the week after SEMA. And then the prices of homes are like as bad, if not worse, as here in California. And then some of the schools for the kids weren't that great. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Chuck 095. I did have an open mind. I did want to check it out there because I like what Texas has to offer in terms of, land to build a facility, their support, their taxes, the lack of emissions and all fun stuff. Even though the EPA is a nationwide entity, it doesn't matter if I'm in Texas or California. The EPA can mess with you. It's not like California Air Resource Board, which is also a very strict entity. And I talk about that and how I should really get in politics and influence that positively. But if you really think about it, the EPA is a nationwide challenge, and at this point, looks like alternative means of transportation like EVs and hydrogen are pretty much the way to go without getting in trouble. And I have no interest in getting in trouble. I just want to do cool things and share with all of you. But it's a problem. Mig R on YouTube says, I'm a gearhead, love mixing and matching. I'm good with all upcoming electric motoring, hybriding, if you will. Yes, I agree with you indeed. BE says, I think EV technology would be cool converting front wheel drive chassis into drift missiles. I concur as well. And the operator 150 also on YouTube live was saying, was the EPA targeting you directly, BC, or are you referring to all tuners? I wasn't aware the EPA was even resourced enough for enough people to mess with small businesses in the tuner world. Yes, it is happening. Put it this way, I received word as recently this past weekend that Grady got hit. We all know about Diesel Brothers. We know about Evans Tuning. I forgot the facility that's in Colorado that's quite popular that got hit as well. We had an agent come to see us. It is, I think they're almost looking at the Honda website that's going after all dealers there. I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, it's maybe, if I had to guess, it's any mid to high profile tuning shops that they're hitting. Austin's not so bad, said Be Easy. It's not bad at all. It's just the pricing. A house that's equivalent to where I was a good $400,000 more than what I paid here in LA. I'm not interested in paying $400,000 more for the same house I have. That's not as nice. So I got to buy all my parts for Project Car Stash, says Be Easy. Not only do you have to do it, if you go on simple eBay, Amazon, try and buy stuff from certain out-of-state entities, they won't ship to California. They won't even ship to California. And the EPA is getting more and more strict indeed. FRR90CRX says, BC, you are the gold standard of automotive excellence. Thanks for the kind words. In the Honda world, you have always been my reference guide. Every build I come across compared to yours is immediately. You didn't finish the comment, but I appreciate that indeed. Thanks for the kind words. BC, I'm into sport bikes. I love the tech, but I tend to stay with four wheels. I have a trike at home that I won, don't laugh, through a game show I did recently. But I won two. Jonathan's already laughing. I won two bikes and I traded in for a trike because I'm just not a fan of the two wheels. Not that it's not fun or not fast. It's really dangerous for the riders. And not you can be the best rider on the planet. It's just cars and people around you that can really hurt you. So that being said, I'm not into sport bikes just because of how dangerous it is for the riders. What do you think, kind of power do you think a D-series nitro motor could make? I think it could do something very similar as what you can see with a turbocharged application. I think you could, with nitro NA, make close to 800 horsepower if you don't split the block in half. That's what my calculations say, and it's very possible if done well. With enough energy, spark energy to make it happen. You may have to use a magneto, but it can be the case. That's my calculations. I'm not either, says Tokyo. The day we ran into each other, the rain. Yep, I'm telling you, Texas and the rain is pretty crazy. How did that VW bus handle, says Mr. Freak? Kind of scary. VW buses weren't meant for a lot of power. It's fun at 450 horsepower, but it was not designed for that. And there's something very eerie about driving a car where you're almost above the steering and you have nothing but sheet metal in front of you on a wall, in case you hit something. That's kind of scary. What about Florida, says Chuck095? I was in Miami for the Electrify Expo early in the year. I plan on being in Miami again next year in about February timeframe. Same thing, the climate. Florida was ridiculous because we went to Miami for an event. It was 95 degrees in the day and then torrential downpour at our event and then sun again after 17 minutes. That's unpredictable. It's really crazy. There's something about California climate. Jonathan and I spoke about that when I first met him, about how where we sit right now. Here in Ontario, where the shop is, we're an hour away from the snow. We're an hour away from the beach. We're an hour away from the desert. the climate is just very, very pleasant. I'm trying to put slicks on the van to drive around because it doesn't really rain that much. I can do that to have fun. Cali is really cool in terms of climate, in terms of style, in terms of pizzazz. When it comes to, we're doing a filming this past Saturday. This is where a lot of filming happens as well. There's a lot of Hollywood influence and entertainment here. It's kind of the best place to make the best of yourself and the best place to make the worst of yourself. It's just a really great state. It's just that certain people in power who make decisions are not enthusiasts or understand the science. As I mentioned before, and now I'm going to get on my soapbox, I'll try not to. As I mentioned before, it seems that I need to do what I can to make sure this company is okay and then get into politics because, especially on the enthusiast side, to help SEMA do what they do best. And if I had a magic wand, our sport compact, domestic, hot rodding market, European market would be one in such a way that you can do any modification you can, approved, of course. You can still get smogged and all that fun stuff, any modification you can, as long as your emissions are equal to or better than factory for that year. So if you have a 1500 horsepower Odyssey running on E90 and you drive it around and the emissions are better than the 2014 model year, no matter how you do it, it's legal. Because we can't lose sight of the goal of why we have these emission standards is for clean air. And what happens within this community is people register out of state, they do illegal smogs, or they put it back to stock, and then when they're done with their smog check, they take it off and go back. The enthusiast community, the performance community is not going to stop. And if California, the states, the regulatory functions are more interested in getting money, charge us a modification fee. Give us a certificate that we can have and pay for it. Let it be $100 a year. Let it be $150 a year. Let it be $75 a year. Whatever the case may be, charge us more, but allow us to have our elegant legal modifications. Don't ban everything because we're losing sight and people are going to do what they're going to do. Hot rodding is not going to die. It's going to be there forever. Period. Bees is saying Texas is getting rid of vehicle inspections in 2025, still going to be emissions testing in Austin probably, but 2025 will be interesting. I'm curious about that as well and how the state regulatory functions do coincide with federal. I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out. Let's see here. Wow, time is flying. I love having fun with you guys because time flies so quickly. Business, your wagon is inspiration. Love all your builds, brother. Thank you so much, Shellhead 1984. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much for the support as well. Have you still got the Netflix Honda? That's it right there. That's the Odyssey right there in all its glory. A little different because it had black wheels, but now the OG polished wheels from 1552 are back on. Still Cat, BC, who wins the future EV infrastructure race? Is Tesla or is there upcoming interest on the horizon? Tesla's winning. They are. Tesla's done a very good job in creating the infrastructure that's quite ubiquitous around the country, if not the world, with their standard plug, that NACS plug that they've dubbed, North American. What am I drawing a blank here? North American something system. I think it's or standard charging standard. North American standard charging standard. That plug is pretty nice. It's compact. You can put a lot of amps through it. Maybe not as crazy as you may see with CCS2 or CCS1, but it's still a very nice compact setup that can do both high voltage, high fast charging and standard level 2 charging or level 1 charging as well. And then you now have, because of its infrastructure, a bunch of manufacturers who are jumping on board. VW, Hyundai, Kia, Rivian, Ford. All these companies are now switching over to that as their standard. So they're winning. In terms of the privateers, even though we see a lot of charge point at EVgo, I'm starting to see a lot of push forward with a company like Blink. So they're doing a good job really opening up and combining with what was the one? There's a SEMA charge system, and then they bought another company overseas, and so on and so forth. So I'm seeing that push the envelope. So of all the aftermarket ones, I think Blink is the one to keep an eye on. But in terms of the infrastructure race overall, Tesla's killing it. I'm sure they signed these deals with manufacturers to make things happen. It's going to be interesting as time progresses. You should be a bike-powered Honda Beat. I should. I haven't had supercar. Sean, good seeing you, brother. I haven't seen a Beat in the house, which would be nice to build one. I do want to do a K car or K truck and do some crazy carbon fiber aero with my boy over here, Jonathan. But yeah, we'll talk about that soon. See what can happen. Vegas isn't that bad idea given the taxes. You know, Chuck, of all the places, Vegas is not so bad. It's not too far from LA to whereby you can make a dash to Los Angeles. The heat gets a bit much from time to time, but it's been kind of cooler recently. I just don't see Vegas as a very nice place to raise children unless I go to like, Summerlin or Henderson, something like that. But yeah, Vegas isn't bad at all. Come visit Hawaii, says Shellhead. I haven't been to Hawaii in almost 2 decades. It may be a good idea to go out there soon. Cali, we have the greatest weather. I agree with you, R35. I concur indeed. How do I feel about the Cybertruck, says Mark Calib. I'll be honest with you. Initially, I thought the Cybertruck was a joke. I did think it was. Now I see it because I tend to have mass interest in things that are not typical and very unique. I think it's pretty cool. The fact that it's also bulletproof is pretty cool as well. I'm curious to the higher voltage infrastructure. From what I gather, it has a lot more voltage than 400 volts, which they've been using standard for quite a while. Tell you what, I'll try and see what I can do to get a demo here. And let me try and do it justice by driving one around from Tesla and see if I can give you some feedback. Give me a few weeks, let me see what I can do. But so far from the outside looking in, I find it quite appealing. I kind of thought it was weird with the stunt of them racing a Porsche 911 and beating it in the quarter mile, towing a Porsche 911. But as a Porsche file, it was kind of messed up. They used a base model Porsche, which doesn't make a lot of power. If they tried that with a turbo or turbo S, it would not have been the same outcome. So just FYI on the kind of little interesting strategy, marketing strategy that Tesla used. But apart from that, I think it's pretty cool, you know? Do you think I can learn tuning without a university? It says MSU15 on YouTube. Yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. I know, I'll put it this way, a tuner I learned from, and he lives in Florida, by the way. Devin Pierce is his name. Not a university graduate, didn't go to university for engineering, but is one of the best tuners on the planet. I learned tuning from him. I was a carb tuner, big time. Did a lot with Makunis and Webers, from emulsion tubes to jet nozzles to air jets to main jets. Did it all. Played around with modification of float bowls. I did it all. Changing float levels, re-drilling my inner venturis, re-machining outer venturis. A master when it came to side rev carburetors, which I saw a Corvette this weekend and an event with one. That was pretty cool. Anyway, I digress. But wasn't really an advocate or a big experienced individual when it came to fuel injection. Devin Pierce, non-engineer, non-college graduate, taught me how to be a better tuner. Everything with having smooth maps to pulse width. My background in carburation allowed me to be a better tuner nonetheless. But having someone hands-on who's a maestro in that tuning acronym, teaching me about the importance of knock and knock tuning, importance of closed loop feedback, what it came to do with even knock as well, even closed loop boost control and ignition timing and closed loop air fuel ratios. All that was a great thing. And then I took it a step further by attending EFI 101 or EFI University. So that really did that. So that being said, yes, you can be successful as a tuner without having an engineering background, you know? Oh, damn, but do I need HP tuners or is there a free tuning software? Thanks so much for helping me, says MSU15. Trying to learn since it looks pretty interesting. Yeah, so right nowadays, you have even more. There are YouTube videos out there. There's HP Academy that can help you with that. HP Tuners does charge you credits to be able to use it, but there are tons of free software out there, especially on the Honda side. On the domestic side, you can download the Dominator software that Harley uses. On the Sport Compact side, you can download AEM Infinity or AEM Series 2, AEM Pro software as well. You have the opportunity to look at Hondata, whether it's Flash Pro, the Hondata S300, Hondata K Tuner, K Pro. There's also K Tuner software. You can download so many free. You can do a search, Google search for free tuning software. You can download all that stuff. Even though it's not a big fan of that, but even Chrome, you can look that up and find that. You can do things with what's another popular one? MS Pro. You can play around with that as well. There's just so much you can do, you know. Okay, let's see here. One Fast 4G. Good seeing you, brother. How are you? Thank you, Freddie Lueta. Thank you so much. Thank you, Supercar Sean. Appreciate the kind words and support and agreements as well. Pardon me. Let's see. Have you thought of doing a project with Jehu Garcia? I've met him once. Nice chap. He does a lot with vans. Never had the opportunity, but I'm sure if we have a good discussion, it'll be great. Your EV versus Porsche versus Plaid. Who wins? Oh, the Plaid will destroy it. The Plaid, even though the Plaid is a good more than 2 times the weight of this, almost 2.5 times the weight of that. The fact that this makes 636 horsepower and is rear-wheel drive, and my Plaid makes 1,000 horsepower and is all-wheel drive, adhesion is it. I mean, the Plaid will destroy this thing. The Plaid will destroy almost anything in here except for probably my Insight. All-motor Insight may give it a tough time, by all means, you know? My pleasure again, MSU15 said, thank you again. About when you want to car wow with your Civic, why didn't you drive it that day? Oh, because he was asking why didn't I drive it. One, because of car wow's, how should I say, liability clause, I couldn't. Secondly, I was in Austin. So the Austin event I said I went to with the family to check it out, that same weekend it happened, it was the same time Kawa was filming the wagon. So, and if I was there, it would have been a whole different story. Because not only would I have been able to share the driver a little bit more, I would have, probably played around with the launch control and did anti-lag and all that fun stuff, which is pretty cool, you know. Okay, so let's see here. Oh my gosh, 34 minutes already. Happy holidays to you. Hi, I'm Hung. Good thing it's been a while. Hopefully you are doing well. Okay, let's see here. Oh, thank you for joining from, I think you're New Zealand in North Zone. Appreciate you here. 911 Weather says, hey, BC, 4 years later, still totally loving my pulse chamber for my SC. It's freaking awesome every time. Thank you so much. That's an exhaust design that allowed me to use Helmholtz cancellation theory to be able to remove unwanted frequencies and drone and provide a lightweight solution that creates a lot of power for the classic Porsche 911s, the 3.0 and 3.2 air-cooled engines. So thank you so much for joining. I need to bring those back because we've had them out of stock for a while. I need to have more made, and we should have a good time, you know? Missing so many good questions here. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm skipping you. Thanks so much, 911 Weather. Appreciate the kind words. Team No Haven says Austin here. By all means, yes. Do you still have the Blue Arc? Yes, I do, Mr. Two Free. Thank you so much for joining. Oh man, too bad because they weren't driving it right. So I got an MSU 15. They were shifting a very low RPM. Oh, really? Was that by design? Interesting. Anyway, maybe next time because they want to come back and do some more stuff. Well, right now, Jonathan and I are upgrading the turbos on that, some nice Garrett units, and we're gonna do some modifications on that. So maybe it'll come out again as a revenge car, and I should be there and make sure that everything is proper. So hang tight for that. Anyway, guys, we need to get back to work. It's a pleasure seeing each and every one of you. I look forward to seeing you next week, same time. Maybe I can go to a nice new location because I haven't been outside the premises in quite a while. But in the meantime, please, please, please stay safe out there. Look forward to seeing you soon. Baby Mundo is asking me to race my Odyssey with Booster Boys again. Review what I shared a moment ago, and we'll talk more about that next time. In the meantime, guys, take care and stay safe. Cheers. Have a great day as well. Bye-bye.